Hello, everyone. Brett, the comic novice here. And a while back, I did a video on Dan Slott's Spider-Man #1, which I will tell you again, first time I've ever read a Dan Slott comic before. I was mildly impressed with where it was going with the first issue. I do know that he is a very interesting, compelling writer for good and for bad. Now, these 7 issues, the first trade paperback, which is going to be released sometime, which is going to be the end of the Spider-Verse, which I will tell you, I feel kind of somewhat annoyed by because I picked this up being a novice, issue #1. On the cover, there is no, end of the Spider-Verse thing. Maybe I should have read the solicits to know that, but issue #2 greeted me with Spider-Man End of the Spider-Verse Part 2. So I feel as though I was kind of forced to jump on to a mini series written by Dan Slott, The Edge of the Spider-Verse, which I was not fully interested or actually wanted any part to do with it, just because we are constantly getting way too many spider creatures, in my opinion. And I don't read many of the books. I just want Miles Morales, Peter Parker, and maybe to some extent, delve into Ben Reilly. That being said, again, good things, bad things about this run. I think it was way drawn out. It was 7 issues. It could have been easily synthesized down to 5 issues. We had what they tried to do was force the return of Peter Palmer, which, there is some reason for that, to kind of, I don't know, give that character life or to shout it out or maybe sell new comics. We had this issue right here, which basically was a long drawn out story of, Peter Parker was, cut from the spider web, the web of time or whatever, the spider web verse. And however, he didn't just disappear from existence. He just never was a part of it. So I guess you could also say at the end of issue #1, we had Jessica Drew, who was completely erased. So how did that occur? How is she not a character within the Spider-Verse in this Marvel comic series, but Peter Parker is? But it was just a lot of fluff. That issue could have probably been simplified into maybe 3 pages at most. You could say that there was a tear-jerker moment at the very end, but by the time we get to this one, which yes, I am proud, sort of happy that I did pick up the special variant cover, because I had heard something that Dan Slott said something to pick that up, and a week ahead of time I did something, and now I have a $3.99 comic that is being sold for over $20, and I guess that's good. But what's going on with this? I thought this was going to be the end of the Spider-Verse. However, we're going to fully meet this character, this Spider-Boy character that we saw at the very end of issue #7, which was a very odd introduction to a character. He appears out of nowhere. Spider characters are appearing that have been severed because of what had happened to, either Moreland eating them or whatever, and they cut them open, and a whole bunch of spider characters and powers started coming back, and that's a good thing. But a character that might not have existed, possibly existed before, who knows? It could go either way. I'm interested, but not interested at the same time. We're going to get that issue. We're going to find out more about Spider-Boy on another Spider-Verse 4-part miniseries, which is going to be written by Dan Slott. Issue #3 on whatever of the Spider-Verse. I feel as though there is too much going on. In all honesty, I think the storyline was over complicated by the amount of spider creatures. So with that being said, was it a bad series? It could have been better. It could have been simplified into a more concentrated, actiony story instead of just drawn out like it was, at least I saw. It'll be interesting to find out what happens later on. Do I want to pick up issue #8 and #9, and also the issue where this gentleman, the Spider Boy, makes his first full on, we get his backstory. Yes and no at the same time, because, props to you for, creating a character that is massively, you know, people are trying to coming out of the woodwork to collect this book because, the collector's market. But are people actually reading the book? No, I actually put this thing in an oversized, over priced cover to make sure that no ding or whatever. Didn't even open it. So, and I think that's a lot of what's going to happen with this issue. Most people are probably going to read it online or get a second issue that they can possibly read and scuff up or not worry about scuffing up. So props to selling more books, but I'm not sure what I really think about this at the end of the day. I think, besides it just being long and drawn out, I feel as though, and maybe that's what Dan Slott is known for, besides arguing with people on Twitter. Who knows? What are your thoughts about my thoughts about the Spider-Man by Dan Slott, the first 7 issues of this first trade? Are you intrigued by this? Are you going to pick up the issue number 3 of whatever of the Spider-Verse, which is going to be also written by Dan Slott too? So, props for him for getting, some momentum behind that book. Not necessarily book 1 or 2, because he's not writing that. So yeah, there's a lot there. What are your thoughts? Are you going to pursue this Dan Slott run further? Am I just being way too optimistic? I will tell you, I think I am a little bit too optimistic. Again, what are your thoughts? Like, subscribe, hit the bell, whatever. Comment below. I do appreciate the comments. And yeah, until next time, I will see you. Probably not finding this thing in the dollar bins, but you know what? If you do, good luck for you. But yeah, besides that, thanks again. And until next time, I will see you in the dollar bins. Okay, it's still recording. Is 7 issues featuring a buttload of spider creatures. Let's redo that. Spider Boy, 3 minutes, 40 seconds. And a trade paperback that is okay.